Hi guys. So I just felt like I had to do a little video. I just had to go to Sainsbury's to do a food shop, and I was there and the queue just went on and on and on and on and on, and the whole queuing system was set up in such a way like in a zigzag sort of way, but so that people were actually standing really close together. It's ludicrous in and of itself. Everywhere signs saying remind you social distance, but then they set up the queuing system in such a way that you're actually 2 feet apart instead of 6 feet, whatever. It's ludicrous. Everybody stood there silently, focusing on their phone, looking incredibly unhappy, looking incredibly miserable. Then I get to the door, and there's this guy, and I was wearing, my headphones, because I always take my iPod out and I listen to music, and I was listening to Simple Minds, and then I was listening to Tinari when loud, like blocking it out as it were. And this guy goes, so I take him off, and he looks at me like that, like he's I don't know, fucking God. And he says, yes, just to remind you, madam, 11 o'clock, 2 minutes silence for VE Day. Now, for those of you who don't know, most of you probably do, but VE Day is World War II, the end, rather, of World War II. But it's a way in which the evil ones get us to give energy to these things. The First World War, the Second World War, the Korean War, the Vietnam War, the war in Yugoslavia, war, perpetual. In the last century, what I see that being is energetic terraforming, because the amount of ritual sacrifice that happens, which is what you get. People go to war, people fight, people are slaughtered horrendously, die horrendously in agony, their bodies ripped apart. All of that creates a tremendous amount of energy, and any dark magician will tell you that human sacrifice gives a lot of power. It brings forth a lot of power. It's practiced by the Cabal for that reason. And it's also part of the reason, in fact probably the main reason, why the world is as it is now. Why there are motorways everywhere, where the whole world has been motherboarded, if you know what I mean. Remember in my last video I talked about the motherboard that looked just like a city. I talked about the hospital that used to be surrounded by green fields and is now surrounded by horrific housing developments, tarmac roads, etc., etc. Not a tree or a blade of grass to be seen anywhere. That is motherboarding. There are evil motherboards this world by degrees. It uses these nefarious things like war to make that happen. It changes people it's a societal gaslighting and manipulation on all kinds of levels that I don't have the time to go into now, but yeah. So this guy says, yeah, at 11 VE Day, 2 minutes silence, like in this really kind of overbearing way, and I'm thinking, yeah, whatever. So I went in, started doing my shopping. All of a sudden this voice, and it was so loud and bombastic that I could hear it over my music. It is now 11 o'clock. It felt like I was walking around in 1984. It was so dystopian, the feeling of it all, because everybody stopped. Like everything and everybody just stopped. Everybody lined up in long lines right next to the product shelves on one side, and then the other side, people lining up behind each other at the product shelves and just staring like it. I can't even put it into words. It was fucking eerie as fuck and scary and weird. And I'm thinking, well, I'm not doing it. I refuse. I will not comply, because I don't believe in war, because I know what wars really are. I know what all this is really about. And I will not feed that motherfucker. I won't fucking do it. So I just kept going. I just picked a bag of sugar, you know, like organic sugar off the shelf. And then picked my organic rice cakes, so forth and so on. And I could feel the energetic, heavy, dark hand oppression of, why are you not complying? Like that. People looking at me, the NPCs, it was all NPCs. There was one guy I could see, he didn't want to comply, he didn't want to do it, but he felt so uncomfortable that he was like, oh, well, I better stay here then. I could tell, I could see he was prevaricating. He looked at me, I looked at him, and we kind of went, wow. But that was it. The rest of them just boom. It was singularly, well, it was, yeah, it made me feel sick to my gut, actually. And I'm still a bit in shock, actually. It was like, wow, what the fuck? Wow, that's insane. Everywhere there's flags, British flags, because everybody seems to think that what's happening is, oh, we're all together, people, it's like World War II, you know, we're all together, keep calm and carry on, you know, and it's all this fucking bullshit. And like, key workers, and they're all heroes. Do you remember, like, you know, the war in Iraq, where they had all these weapons of mass destruction, and all of a sudden everybody is worshipping the military. Do you remember? Help for heroes! When, if people are stupid enough to go and join the army and get their legs blown off for king and country, or, you know, to serve the archons, then surely the powers that be should be paying for these veterans, should be helping these veterans. But no, the public is asked, oh, donate money, so that we can look after the veterans of war. Look at the state of Vietnam veterans, man, it was appalling. I'm not saying all people that join the army are bad. There are good people who just don't get that at the time and join the army. I've known a few and they were good people, and that's great. But you know, he went to Iraq and he saw it all go down, and they were given this medication to take every day. He didn't take it. Gulf War syndrome ensued shortly after. Oh yeah, it was all done on, it was an experiment done on these soldiers in the Gulf War, and he was there, and well, anyway, so I didn't comply, and I kept doing what I did, and I felt very, very, very uncomfortable, and I thought that is how they want me to feel, and that is what will make people get back in line, do as you talk, because it just feels so horrendous, mentally, emotionally, physically, energetically, to say, no, I'm not doing it, non-compliant, I am gonna carry on. But I did it anyway. So I'm proud of myself for that. It may not have achieved anything, but it has achieved a tiny bit for me, in that I feel good about myself for saying no. The power of no. It was like, because yesterday I was in biology. This is a place where you can get cheap candles and nail files and whatnot, batteries, and I was in there, and I was walking in the aisle, and I was very close to the shelves with all the products on, and some woman came walking toward me and walked past me muttering and looking at me, you know, like, you know, so I went, what? Because I knew straight away what that was about. I can feel it, I know. And she was, you're supposed to get out of my way, you're supposed to stay away from me, you know. And it was like, well, what? You want me to defy the laws of physics and merge into the cabinet on my left? You know, what the fuck? And then I just, and then she was like, and just saying really just shitty things. So I just lost my rag, and I am blunt, yes, and I can be aggressive. I am not perfect. This is true. So I said, oh, shut up, shut the fuck up, you're so full of shit, wake up. And then just walked on. And then felt bad and guilty for having said that and for having lost my rag. But then at the same time thinking, you know what, I'm a human being, and I'm getting to a point where I just can't take anymore. Because here's the thing, people. The NPCs will comply. They all think it's fucking VE Day. They all think that, they all believe this enemy patterning. And we must go to war because, there are weapons of mass destruction. And we must worship the army. And we must trust the government, and let's put those flags up because oh yes, marvelous, this whole fictitious bullshit story. It's all believed, and the flags are up, and it's all banal. And no matter what the news tells them, it's getting so insane now that apparently vegetables are infected with COVID-19. What? It doesn't matter what they say, no matter how ludicrous, no matter how stupidly, blatantly obvious. It's all propaganda, you see. But propaganda is, they will buy it. Never before have the lines been drawn so clearly where that is an NPC, soulless, look at it. This is a soul human being. Either... And even at the early stages of awakening, but yes, awakening. I've had conversation with a guy yesterday, Paul, and I love Paul. He's runs a cafe called Jasmine's, and I didn't, he's a good person, and he's sold, and I've always known because he's got a heart of gold, and he's just totally awakening, really waking up, questioning Bill Gates, vaccinations, child trafficking. He's looking into it. He's waking up, and I'm like, wow, how amazing, and I'm so proud of him. It's so amazing to behold. This is such a pivotal time we are living in, people. It's so... On the one hand, you see the darkness, the propaganda, the manipulation, the NPC prison bar experience where comply, social... We are all complying, how come you're not, and all this type of weird shit, and people misbehaving, and people saying, why are you in my way, get away from me. And then you see the sold people that actually just want to be together, that are not even bothering to social distance. They don't wear their masks, they don't wear their gloves, they will go and see their friends, they smile at you, we smile at each other, we look each other in the eye, and there is a connection because we know that we know. People are waking up. People are seeing it and saying, what the fuck, this is completely insane. That's it. This is a parting of the ways, and I honestly feel that the only thing that matters is the consciousness of the truly souled people, because I think the NPCs are simply minions of the Archons, or the dark side, call it what you will. They're just Wetigo's minions. That's all they are, and so ultimately, it's neither here nor there. Ultimately, they have no power. Evil just needs to continually lie, deceive, and feed, and manipulate, and gaslight. It's really not having any effect on souled people. At all. People are awakening, people are changing, we are exercising the Wetigo. And yes, we do go through periods where you really, it's like, a friend of mine said in his last video, the Green Wizard, which is a great little channel, go and see it, people, the Green Wizard, that it does get to a point where you feel, over and over and over again, by the way, where you feel like I haven't learned a fucking thing, I'm back at square one, it's all is lost, I'm fucked up, oh boy, oh this, oh that, usually precipitated by a trigger of some sort, a catalyst of some sort, an experience of some sort that goes in and boom, and oh. But after that, always we emerge, we break the surface, and we realize, it was a purge. something has been healed, something has been alchemized, and it's onwards and upwards to the next level. And yes, we will probably have more of that shit going on, because it is healing. It is the Herxheimer reaction, people. Yes? So you take a little bit of the poison, something happens that triggers something within you, and boom, Venus square Neptune, boom, you know, narcissism, gaslighting, all kinds of shit. We have lived in this realm, and it still lives in us, and it has to be purged out. So that is what is happening. Everything feels very, very, very strange and nebulous, but you know, I'm good with high strangeness. I say bring it on. Yes. We stand in the power of our light and in the light of our power, and we will not comply. We choose freedom and love. Love is freedom.